Hello and welcome back to the Welsh Premiership podcast. For those of you who don't know who we are, we're a group of second year sports journalism students at the University of South Wales in Cardiff. If you enjoy this video, go and check out the videos on this YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at Welsh Prem Pod. Today we're joined by current Swansea RFC Head Coach and former Dragons and Ospreys player, Hugh Gustafson. Hugh, how are you? How are you getting on?
Yeah, I'm good. It's a bit of a strange time, the lockdown, and dip our feet back in the coach and then back onto another lockdown. With Swansea, we haven't yet to touch the ground. We were supposed to have a session last week, but then Bridgend went to lockdown and Swansea followed. So they halted our plans, but I think we're not the only club and only coach out there struggling to get going in the minute.
Okay, so moving on, you've just had your first season at Swansea. You finished 9th. You never really looked like getting relegated, though. How do you feel it went?
Yeah, it's my first year head coach, but it is a difficult time. I think we hit the mumps as well last year, as well before COVID. So we had a bit of momentum, and we lost the track with mumps. We lost a few home games. We're a young side out there as well. I think our average age is quite young. We play a young team, and we beat the likes of Merthyr away. We beat Aberafon 90 minutes a game, go through 30 phases. We lost to RGC away, a lot at home. Last play, we're Billy McBride kicking that kick from our ill discipline. We could have gone 3 in a row. Beat Necky twice home and away. Beat Ibervale, I think, first time in 4 or 5 years away from home. We beat Ibervale. So some good things. But then with a young squad comes now these silly errors, losing the Merthyr home. We could have scored a try last play of the game, got held up. Lost 7-5 in the rain. Llandovery home could have beaten them, leaked the try last 10 minutes of the game. So we lacked a little bit of that kind of instinct, which comes in age. I think with a young squad, it comes reps and amount of games played. And I think we only get better. Watch was a bit doubtful for us. Those mumps halted a lot of home games. I think we had Bridgend left home, Ibervale home. We could have picked up a few points. But it was a good learning curve for myself and the young squad we got. And I think where we're going, we're not going to be jumping straight to winning the league straight away. So it's a small building blocks and looking at our foundation. We're not going to build a squad with money. We're going to build it with young local Swansea boys.
Yeah, and it's still unclear when next season will start, but when it does start, what are your aims for the season?
Yeah, again, I think we're out to prove that we build a squad and build a group of young players. Hopefully our job as Swansea, get them to play for a region and play for Ospreys. Look at like Will Griffin, Morgan Morris and James Thomas have all played for Ospreys. Well, Morgan Morris last year, and especially start of the season, Will Griffin and Josh Thomas have been reporting doing well. And it's down to them being excellent players, but also us giving them a service and playing 20 games for those Whites. And them getting game time allows them to play better for the Ospreys when they do get called in and not being raw or not ready. And I hopefully we can do that for other academy boys in our Swansea ranks and other players.
Yeah, Swansea don't have the biggest budget in the league, so how tough is it to be competitive?
It's hard to like some Merthyr and Cardiff, and you can't know you can win the league by buying a squad, and certainly our committee don't believe in that route. We look to believe in getting local Swansea boys to play for Swansea and be proud. So we're looking at now our local ranks and school boys moving up. We're looking at Gower College, looking at university, looking at local teams and clubs, and also academy routes. Don't forget there's some local good Premiership players in the league get overlooked, but we have a good mixture. And if you look, like I said, our squad is quite young. And we look to want to play for local Swansea boys or local boys in the area who want to play for the Whites, and that kind of brings these 90-minute performances like against Aberafon, like going through 30 phases. If you didn't have that tight commitment or bond to want to win the game for the Whites, I don't think you would go defend 30 phases. And keep going back to the Aberafon game, but it showed to me everyone wants to score a try, no one wants to stop a try. And you got 15 boys out there, plus the subs, defending for, we said 30 phases. It shows me some commitment to play for the Whites.
Yeah, and the club has brought in Kevin James next season as backs coach. What difference do you think he'll make?
But Nick and Nathan are both, with family and work, have stepped down, which is, we're fortunate. But with someone like Kevin James, and nickname is Kipper, he's got a vast knowledge. I know he stepped away from rugby for 2 years, but he's done age grade, the likes of when Will Griffin and all them won the regional age grade. He was head coach. He's brought a lot of coaches under him through age grade. He's got vast knowledge of the area from beneath. He's coached skill win, so a lot of the young players have worked underneath him. And like his brother, he's a bit of a character. And all you want from a coach as an ex-player and is energy, commitment. And this guy will bring loads. And I think boys will be excited to work with him, and I'm looking to eventually when we do start back again.
As you mentioned then, last season was your first season as head coach at Swansea. Is coaching always something you've been interested in and always wanted to do?
Yeah, I think I've been coaching since I was the age of 20 or 19, 20. I did the Dragons 16s with Lewis Evans. I think we were young at the time coaching them. I did the Dragons 17s. I've done Tumble, Division 3 and 2. And I haven't been gifted straight into a regional job or gifted straight into a job. I had to work and while playing. So I've done the old being a coach, the team manager, Division 3, phoning for the boys to wake them up, or someone's late from a shift and trying to sort a 15-man team until the boys rock up later on, trying to get a kit from the laundrette, getting 10 on a team run night. I've done that. I've done Division 3, promotion from 3 to 2 at Tumble. I've done that. I'm a head coach at the University, Swansea University. I've done the Ospreys women's regional campaign for 2 years. I was lucky enough to coach the Wales women's forwards for the season before I was offered the head coach role. So if you look at my CV, I haven't just done straight in from retiring to coaching. I've done the progression. I've done not so glamorous jobs coaching lower leagues, and it is hard lower leagues coaching. You got to put your cap off to boys, and the clubs find it hard now at the minute about coaching. But I've done the Division 3 and 2. When you have 6 weeks games are called off because the pitch is so unplayable. You have a mini pre-season in December because there's no teams and the weather's bad. So I've done that. I think I've learned a lot from everyone I've coached and everywhere I've been, from the lower leagues to the women to the university. I think I've learned a lot, and I'm grateful of the stepping stones I've done to get where I am.
And you mentioned about your role with Swansea University as well. How's that going? And how does that work with relation to your job at Swansea RFC as well?
Yeah, so I'm contracted, obviously, as a head coach to Swansea University, and then on the side note, I'm head coach for Swansea. And so, Lincoln and lucky we don't play on the same day. So I'll be really putting my head out. With Swansea University, I put in the job while still playing. So I was coming towards the end of my career, and fair dues like Steve Tandy and Dan Griff came in and said, look, listen, there's an opportunity, the partnership of going to Swansea. It'll be hard for you while playing last year, and how to juggle while playing and coaching. So I was getting up. They were coaching the boys. So committed to the university rugby is. I was getting there for 6:30 to set up. The boys on field by 8:15 after doing a gym session. We're done by 9, the students, so it doesn't affect them. I had to shoot off down then to Ospreys, get my breakfast and start a long day of training, and then get back to university for a night session on Monday. So there's a lot of commitment. And part of that partnership was hopefully get the Super Rugby in 3 years, which, if people don't know, is the highest form of university rugby. My first year was about building a culture. We came like 5th or 4th. And my second year, we were promoted to Super Rugby. Long task. Playing 2 playoffs and a varsity. Or a playoff and a varsity the same day. It's quite hard, but to get promoted to Super Rugby and then stay there last year and be the highest finishing first team entering, has been a bit of an accomplishment for the university and the boys who've been involved. So, and then going back to Swansea, it's a juggling act, but it's a great learning curve because you've got Super Rugby in the uni students now. It's a fast game on a Wednesday. It's exciting brand of rugby, ball and play. You come to Saturday, it's about winning. It's about grinding in some teams. It's about being physical. It's a good balance, and being able to coach both helps me on a Wednesday and a Saturday.
And you mentioned promotion to Super Rugby and promotion with Tumble as well. Yeah. And obviously, you have a lot of young players coming through when you're coaching, like the academies and stuff. What are some of your favourite memories from coaching?
The first one was a Tumble. Getting promoted, I think I'm the last playing Aberystwyth away. And if you've been to Aberystwyth, Aberadon's pitch is often fall off the face of the earth. It's a really windy, horrible place. And we had to win 4 tries to win and get promoted. And we did it the last game. So it was my first proper ever been involved. I played with Dragons a few years. It felt tough. We win in a few games, but I was on the back end of quite a lot of hard losses. And to be promoted or win something, it was quite excited for me as a player and a coach. Being involved then with Ospreys women to have basically a Chelsea side in front of you full of internationals. It was a great for me to coach those women who were excellent, and to win the regional and defeated for 2 years. That was something special. And then for me, it's the university winning the Super Rugby, getting promoted. That we came second in the league, but happy seconds. couldn't get promoted, obviously, as you students know, as a second team, we can't get promoted. So we're lucky and blessed to go into a playoff against Newcastle. Roll of a dice, flip a coin, home or away, home again. So we beat Newcastle home. Flip of a coin then to play Nottingham Trent. Heads, we had to play them at home. And then we beat Trent at home in St Anne's. We promoted Super Rugby, and they showed just those validations, those early hours for the players, not just for me, because as you students, you know, it's hard to get up at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. Well, these boys are getting up at 6 o'clock, after 6 to do weights and then into a session. I'm just proud of what they achieved, and me being part of it. It's easy as a coach. You sit back and you can actually, you know, dictate. But those boys put their times, their hours, their commitment, and university lifestyle to win us that promotion. You know. So I was chuffed then, a bit emotional that day. Then going to Cardiff for varsity after that and getting beaten by Cardiff Uni was a bit of a come down. But no, that was just a tough day altogether. But no, those little wins, and there's some games I like, even with Swansea beating the Merthyr away, shows us though against a team like that, beating Swansea, beating Cardiff last year. Those small victories mean a lot as well. And as a player and as a coach, I tell them, like, you've got to enjoy these moments because they don't come around often. So it was nice feelings to win those games with Swansea as well, beating the likes of Merthyr, Cardiff, Aberville away. You know, people, as much as Aberville were struggling in relegation, they're a tough team away from home, and they've proved that a few times. So beating Aberville away in the last couple of minutes was a great feeling for us as a squad and a group.
And do you have any more ambitions for coaching? Do you want to take that further?
Yeah, like I'd be silly not to say, oh no, I'm happy where I am. I want to keep going. Like a class as my job, not a hobby. I'm blessed, and like I said, I'm lucky to have this job as my main job. And of course, I want these stepping stones and where these paths take me. But like I said, I got to earn these stripes. I haven't been given it on a silver plate. I've had to earn these from, like I said, lower leagues, young academy players all the way up now. So yeah, hopefully I want to take these steps. But at the minute, I'm on a journey with Swansea and the uni, and I want to push on with Swansea, and I want to push on the university.
Hugh, you started your playing career with Swansea in the Premiership before signing with the Dragons. How was your time at Rodney Parade, and what was some of your best memories there?
It was a special group of players when I went to Rodney Parade. It's different. I was lucky enough to go up to Shermanach at the time, and towards the end of my career at Dragons, and that's a great facility. But when I was there, we didn't have that luxury. We were on the cabbage patch, they called it. Barely had. We had a gym where we got to wear gloves in the winter because it was cold. It created, even though people were in front of it, we created a bond and a tight group. And Rodney Parade and the fans and the Dragons are special. As much as people say, and it's been hard because we've had some tough times there, and the fans don't step away. They're still there, even though they don't want to be there sometimes, and they feel it's hard. And look, they've grown really. The Dragons are outstanding now, and they're growing now. This reputation of, they're developing some good internationals as well. And some signings that probably 10 years ago, 5 years ago, would have turned up. So the fans are special. The ground is special, they're developing. And Rodney Parade is a special place. For me, the big example, I think, the year when we beat the Ospreys in Rodney Parade, and they had Australia, and they had Jerry Collins, Ryan Jones, Lee Byrne, Mike Phillips, James Hook. We beat them in Rodney Parade, and that's one of the best memories. Like, to show anyone an underdog story, no matter who you put out, it's on the day. And 9 times out of 10, you probably lost against them. That one time we beat them, and that's the year we did well. And I was like chuffed to be involved in and start that game. I was really proud, even though it was against Adam and Duncan. We had a tough time being a young tight head, but with Steve Jones in the middle, that helped us. But some really good times away with Dragons. Beating Toulouse. There's a few, you can be proud of that. And I enjoyed my career there. There's ups and downs, but you never forget where they gave me the opportunity when I was younger, and I was privileged to play for them.
And then after 9 years there, you went down the M4 to Swansea and played for the Ospreys. How do you find it there? It
was a bit of a, when I was leading the Dragons, we were building, I was there with a lot of internationals, the Dragons, like Michael Owen, Sweeney, Rhys Thomas, but they were all moving to different clubs, and we were left quite building future internationals like Elliot D, Corey Hill, and we had all these youngsters coming through at the time. When I went down to Ospreys, they were full of British Lions and internationals, so it's be a bit, even though I played against, a bit eye-opening actually playing and training with them, and you realise why Justin Tipuric, Alwyn Jones, why Rhys Webber, these are special. You can see them training, and it changed my mindset as well, looking at them and how I could relate when I was coaching. And Alwyn's racing back to halfway line off kick-off practice. We score a try, and he's the first one back to halfway line. He's not a British Lion down to just rocking up. this guy is a machine, and Justin Timberlake is skill practice, and he works with the backs, and I just watched and I was in more. And like I said, like even watching Toby Fartow and training, the most laid back man in the world, and you watch these British Lions, these internationals and training, and he put everyone to shame. It's just natural ability and hard work, and it's a great thing to watch and be involved with as well.
Obviously, you've mentioned some of the Lions and Welsh players, but who are some of the best players you've played with and against at a regional level?
Well, there's a lot of players like and this Jabba, Steve Jones from Dragons Head Coach now, and he's probably one of the best touch rugby players I've ever seen in my life. In training, he used to love a touch rugby game, but no, just learning the dark arts. People talk about it, like Steve Jones was, and he taught a lot mental. Just hard work, watching Arlo win and playing against Arlo win, just constantly physical. I played against some horrible tight ends in my time when I was lower league with Dragons, going to Pepe on away, and to lose about some tough times against Sensors Johnson and Olivia Mann. There's some tough players out there. But regionally, you keep mentioning them. It's probably like John Davis. I remember being like bumped by him, and some physical players out there. But like look at Nick Cudd. Like I used to play against Nick Cudd and with him. And the guy, you probably don't see him as much. You make a line break, but every contact area. That's what people used to talk about. Try to remove Nick Cudd from the area. Even when he played for the Ospreys against Dragons, right, flip the table. And the same thing he said, you've got to beat Nick Cudd to the contact area and try to get Nick Cudd away from it. So even though he's not an international player, he is still renowned as a great regional player. I know he's not involved in anywhere in a minute, but Lewis Evans, at my time at Dragons, never been capped. But God, he was a great leader and a great liner option, and guy could read a game, and he's excellent. And like Michael Owen, some people might not know Michael now because there's a while since he won the Grand Slam, but as a person, as a player, and as a guy, I learned a lot from him. Even playing against Colin Jarvis towards the end of my his Dragons career, he was unbelievable. Like he took his time in training, but in a game day, the stuff he did, I was in awe of. And you look back at reviews. But Sidoli again, they're both Sidoli brothers. When I played in Dragons, outstanding qualities, good people, great liner callers, ability to read a game, leaders on the field, off the field, stand up for anyone, and demanded like respect. Everyone's got for the Sidoli is unbelievable. And you naming people probably who have played for Wales, but not on the radar, still not those great names. But these people I looked at, and they kind of that respect in the jersey. A lot of them did, even though Dragons had a tough time. They always had respect, and like you fill the jersey. People like Kerry Sweeney, Jamie Ringer, they demanded you play for the jersey. And that Dragons mentality, they always have that doggy mentality. And I kind of bring that to when we play for the Whites. So University, you might not have the biggest budget or the biggest team, but you fight for that jersey, and these outcomes come in some aren't days for us, but there's close games, and more we can change mentality wherever you play for, and you play for the jersey and the right reasons, and there's a better outcome then at the end.
And while you were at the Dragons, you played in Premiership for the likes of Bedwas, Cross Keys and Newport.
I think I did them all. I think I'm part of poor. I did them all one year.
How do you find like the difference in the level between playing Premiership rugby and then a few weeks later playing in the regional game?
Yeah, like it was different at the time. And I remember when I first got contracted with the Dragons, I was playing for Vale on Saturday. I came off the bench, and I think I played for Vale against Bedwas. I think me and Dan Liddy both did it. So it's a bit different. And like we would about playing rugby, changing our mentality and development, and a little bit more of the physical aspect in the gym before then playing. It's all changed. But being a West Walian and going up to Gwent, the mentality's a lot different, I tell you now. The physicality and training, I've been touch rugby with swinging arms. It's a bit different up in the Gwent, and it's a different mindset when you're down West Wales up there. And I learned a lot up there. And each club are different, but they all got the same mentality. They want to win. They want to do well for the club. It's all about the club. Like I said, it's a Gwent man. I'd be proud of being from Gwent. And it's physical. I mean, like as a front rower, you learn a lot. And the only way I learned was having tough times in the front row learning that. I think having those stepping stones works, like playing and coaching, but you need to have those stepping stones. Like I played in the Met, my first year half Met, with Hugh at the time. I've been playing the Championship, like Narberth, Bonamine, Merthyr at the time in Championship, further lead. So we've had some tough games then. I learned I should run the way. There's some games better. I think I had some tough times I've learned my lessons. There's no lines on the sideline of the old front row, tight head, give me a hiding. But the only way to learn is by having those lessons. And when you go and pepping on then against a horrible French tight head, it's a bit different then. You realise it's exactly the same mentality if you go in Pontypool versus Cross Keys, and it's against Dragons and Dragons versus Pipe. They want to hurt you, they want to be physical, and whatever level it is, it's the same mentality as front row. You've got to do a job and you've got to stick in that fight, even how tough it is.
Over the past 2 seasons, Swansea have had some good regional youngsters playing for them, like Cambriani, Callum Carson, Morgan Morris, Josh Thomas. How do you think they've improved from playing in the Premiership?
It's playing. As much as you go on a train, you've got to play. And I believe that these kids will make mistakes because they're young and they're learning. Everyone makes mistakes. But you learn from those mistakes and you get better and better. And you're foolish to think they're going to put a jersey on and be perfect because they've got academy or you're going to be score hat-trick for you. They will make mistakes. By the 3rd or 4th game, they'll get better and better. And like Josh Thomas, for us, he's unbelievable towards the end. He's controlling the game, but the first game he was quite, developing, trusting himself and his ability. And look, I think he played against the Scards like half time, like for 30 minutes. He was unbelievable against the Scards, I heard. So, Silver Morgan Morris, I think he played 17 games for us 1 season, and I think people didn't realise how good he was. And then you feed back and look at this kid. He's robust, even though he's not the tallest guy in the world. He's robust, and I think his body hardened as soon as you called him to the Ospreys. He was ready for a game. He wasn't a shock to his body. And Carson as well. Carson's one of those players who can do something that you've never seen before. But it's when to do it. And I think he's learned that. Cambriani scoring tries. I've never seen a guy stand someone up and score a try and actually see a way before in the space of 2 meters. And they will do it, but it's repetition. And the more they play, the better they get. And I'm a big believer in that. They will make mistakes. That's rugby. It's how you go, move on from that and learn from it. And the more they do it, the better they get. And you watch those mistakes will get less and less.
What's your thoughts on the standard of the Premiership? Do you think it's improving?
It could be a mixed bag, I'll be honest. From you could be there on a Friday night or Saturday night, and I've sat to watch a game. I think I'm glad it's on television because we would have lost fans. Because sometimes there's some games and you can't blame the rest. It's true participation from both sides. But I've been on a Saturday, like Abrav and Swansea against each other going through 30 phases. I think it's an excellent game of rugby. But you got to see who's playing for you. It's be realistic. What is the Premiership's tool for? What is it for? Is it just about winning the league? Is it about just winning the league and holding a trophy on the end of the season? Or is it about developing players and giving players opportunity? I think some teams are lost with that mentality. What is the purpose of Premiership? I'm a believer that it's the next step to regional rugby. We're not like English champs. We can't become a pro when we can't have a step up into ourselves into another region and then play against them. It's a stepping stone for youngsters. So when they leave Wales 20s, and also for players who haven't been seen, don't forget, some players out there, have never had a contract, or never been on someone's radar, and they turn 21, mature, and suddenly they're on the radar. That's what the Premiership's for. I personally believe it's the next stepping stone. Of course, everyone wants to win the league and proud, but also I just want to put performance and be helped develop these players to step up and then play regional rugby and then see them step up from regional rugby to move to play for Wales. And that's how my goal personally and is to see these boys develop. And in the meantime, if they can help the Whites and they play well and work as a team, in the meantime, brilliant. That's our service to them. So that we need to sit down as a group or a collective and decide what is the purpose of the Premiership, because I think sometimes it gets lost sight. And then you said it's easy when someone can buy a team and buy a squad for the league, but at the end of the day, you hold a trophy and that's great. But what have you service for Welsh rugby? And I think at the end of the day, what is a service for Welsh rugby? Regional rugby is about winning, but also they produce an international step up. And hopefully, I want to be that team that produces regional rugby players to step up to the next level, or give them opportunity to be in the light to play regional rugby.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure what you're allowed to say about this, but Will Jones, who's been impressive for you over the last 2-3 seasons, has been released by the Ospreys. What do you think about that?
It's what the Ospreys see in their depth chart as well. And when Will did play for us, he gave everything to us. But for me personally, it's what the regional see. And if they've got someone else coming in or someone else to do a better job than Will, then it's their opinion and opportunity. And it's just, like I said, you've got Nick Cudden for the Dragons who's been released now. There's nothing, hard feelings done. It's just that time of the year and business is done. And he's an excellent player, Nick Cudden. And same as Will Jones, but it's what they see and what they know and other people don't, and what they see regionally. They got someone coming in to do a better job or someone filling that jersey. It's just business in a day. Like I've been involved in a business in sense until I think it's no hard done by the region or the region's releasing players now. It's just business, and you've got to move on as a player and move on to the next chapter, and that's how it goes.
To finish then, Hugh, we got the teammates quiz for you. Now you've thought about your answers, but who's the worst dressed teammate you've played with?
Now, you mentioned a few times, I think it's Rob Sadoli and Peter Sadoli. You know, I think there's a Harley Davidson t-shirt, Stonewashed jeans, and AstroTurf trainers.
And who's the best drinker you've played with?
Like I said, no, there's been a few big men and I played against, and a few big swiggers, as they say, like Adam Black, you know, a man like the good glass of cider, and being big and strong as he was, an Englishman, like he's up there as well. And
then the biggest liability on a night out?
I was thinking about myself now, but I got to say, Steve Jones up there, he did like a sack and a line out. He used to sack people by the bar. So you'd be standing there 1 second at the pint, the next time you're on the floor being sacked. And that was his big big trick of the night out. So I think Steve Jabba Jones is up there. And
then your best changing room DJ you've seen?
I used to live with a guy, so I know he used to be, his music sense would be pretty decent. It's Dan Lydiate, no, he liked a big fan of Elton John, and he's a big singer, rocking man. So if anyone bumps into him, massive for rendition. Big fan of Elton John.
And who are the teammates you'd most and least want to be stuck on a desert island with?
Like, I go back to the same person. Liability is a great crack on a night out with Steve Jones, but also he'd be a pain in the ass, and you want to get rid of him as soon as you see him. But for me, my point of view with Steve Jones, I learned a lot from the dark arts from him, and about joining rugby. Like, Steve is a big believer of having fun when you put a jersey on. As soon as that mentality kind of goes away of having fun, even if you're playing for regional rugby or Premiership, and you've got to enjoy rugby, and I think he's a big believer in that. But he's also a bloody pest a night out as well.
Right then, that's the end of episode 9. Cheers for coming on, Hugh.
Cheers, boys, thanks so much.
And I'm sure the three of us will see you down at St Helens soon.
Yeah, cheers, boys, thank you.
He's got a brand new car, looks like a jet.